We knew it. We called it. It was obvious this was going to happen. The lack of media coverage has been crazy, though. I actually searched Google for this story, and whether you click on the news page or whether you click on the all page of Google, in none of the top articles or posts is there any news related to what broke yesterday. And I found this absolutely staggering. The PGMOL, they cannot be upset at claims they are trying to rob Arsenal of a title. They cannot be offended by claims that they helped City beat Liverpool to 2 or 3 titles. They can't help it because they do such a bad job, and the media coverage when it benefits Man City for one reason or another seems to be absolutely minimal. Now, I want to start by saying I'm not blaming Man City. Man City have done nothing wrong. This is not their fault. Just in case any City fans start to cry, whinge and moan, in case any Arteta outers cry, whinge or moan. Well, we're going to look at some facts here. And the element that I've been calling out with the PGMOL for a while, they're incompetent at least, but the calls for the accusations of corruption, I think, should be investigated at the very least. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Because all I've read today is the PGMOL saying, and I'm quoting this because this is how I'm interpreting it. It's not literally what they've said. I have to say that for legal reasons because I could be sued. But it's a case of we help Man City. We know we made another big mistake that helped Man City in a title race. We basically robbed Arsenal. We basically robbed Nottingham Forest. Like in the past where we've robbed Liverpool and robbed other teams. We've seen this before. And we're going to go back through some historic situations as well. In fact, we're going to start with the historic situations because this has been going on for a long time. Now, of course, there are some decisions that VAR can get involved. Now, I'm not talking about sort of a corner that maybe or maybe not should have been given and it's marginal. We're talking about big, clear, obvious, terrible decisions in games, and some of which where VAR can get involved to rectify it. That is the angle that we're speaking on here because they're the standouts. They're the standouts. And we've seen over the years, and we can go back to just earlier on this season, where Liverpool incorrectly have a goal disallowed for being offside. And not only did we see the mainstream media, the PGMOL, not only did we see them defend this horrific decision, they essentially undone 4 to 5 years worth of work where they consistently stated it's not about, unless you're directly in front of a goalkeeper or you're physically touching them when you go to score, it isn't offside. We saw City the season prior score a goal where Bernardo Silva's wrestling with the goalkeeper, or leaning into the goalkeeper, moves away from him as the cross comes in, is in his peripheral vision. The header comes in and it goes in, and they said, no, it doesn't matter that he was engaging with him before the ball was crossed. It doesn't matter that he's in his peripheral vision. It doesn't matter that it may have made the goalkeeper second guess himself. He wasn't interfering with play. And that was the general consensus from fans. We believe what they said until this moment where the goal was disallowed. We've seen that one. We also saw this season the referees do a U-turn on minimal touches on the ball. They've gone from saying that doesn't classify winning the tackle to now saying that it does, after evidence from at least the past 4 seasons of when there was a minimal touch but a player still taken out, a penalty invariably was given. So we've seen that this year, and one of them massively benefits City in a game they may have gone on to win. But let's not pretend that goals don't change games. And City at this stage of the season were quite vulnerable when conceding. We can go back to that very famous challenge where Doku slightly touches the ball, but follows through and studs McAllister in the chest towards the end of a game, which would have led to a penalty. And there's a high chance that Manchester City lose, that they drop points again in this title race. 99.9% of City fans said they cannot believe they got away with this, but again, not given. We go back a few years prior to that, and there was the famous Rodri handball against Everton in a close title race. You actually go back to the timeline. Go back and read the timeline of that day. You can actually do an advanced search on X where you can look at what people were tweeting in that period of time during the game. City fans everywhere. Oh, we're done. We're screwed. Oh, it's handball. I can't believe it. Oh, we've thrown it away. Oh, my God, not given. It's always great to watch the real-time reaction of a fan as opposed to the, right, how do I now twist this and say it was the correct decision? And there's been many others, including offsides by 30, 40 yards, where they've rewritten the rules a week later to try and justify it. We've seen this consistently with Man City in title races against the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal and others, where decisions just seem to, at the very least, seem to go in their favour in very tight games at very important parts of the season. They often go in their favour, I would say at least 80% of the time. But I'll reiterate again, I don't believe City are paying anybody off. I don't believe that City are cheating. This isn't Man City's fault. Maybe there is an unconscious bias within the referees, which is why I do think that an independent inquiry is needed. We know that at least one referee in this period that was refereeing up until a year ago despised Jurgen Klopp. So again, what's going on? Are there 2 or 3 individual referees that don't like Arsenal, that don't like Liverpool, that don't like X, Y, and Z club? And it just so happens to subconsciously benefit Arsenal in City in certain games. Who knows? But an independent inquiry is needed because the volume of mistakes are unbelievable, Jeff. They're unbelievable. And the reason that we call them out, for instance, we mentioned the Victor Gyökeres situation already this season. You've got the Liverpool goal that's not given as offside. There's the kick in the chest. The reason we all call it out, it isn't really about City got another one go their way. That's part of the problem. The biggest issue is we sit there and watch decisions go in a certain direction 9 times out of 10. And you go, okay, well, if you kick the ball away, you get a second yellow. If you're in the eyesight of the goalkeeper, as long as you're not standing directly in front of him, and as long as you're not trying to win the ball or physically touching the goalkeeper, it's not given as offside, even if you're in an offside position. That was consistently rammed down our throats. If you make a slide tackle and you only marginally touch the ball and you clatter through the player, it's a foul still in the box. All these things are told to us. And then randomly, they go against it for one-off decisions. This is why we call it out. Because is that incompetence? Is it corruption? I'm not making accusations. I'm asking for investigations because something doesn't feel right. Now, on this news, the PGMOL have admitted that to Nottingham Forest that Man City's Ruben Diaz should have been sent off for a second yellow card in the game on December 27th. They have admitted, and Forest have now confirmed, that the goal by Cherki should have stood. The goal by Cherki, there was no problems with it ever, in my personal opinion. It 110% should have stood. Now, for me, when it comes to this second yellow card, the crazy part about it is initially I watched it and went, it's an accidental foul. It could be a little bit harsh. And I defended it in the real time. But this is where the education piece comes in, and we all have to learn to be objective in this. Ex-referees, including Dermot Gallagher, that normally protects the PGMOL, turned round and said to Jay Bothroyd, I think it's Jay Bothroyd, that it has to be a second yellow. And it's an obvious and clear decision because you've given the foul and the player is about to run into the box. And if by accident, if on purpose, you stop a promising attack, it's an automatic yellow card. So it isn't a case of you're on a yellow card, so the threshold is suddenly a little bit higher for your next cynical foul or your next late challenge, because I don't really want to send people off. This falls into the categories of it must happen. If you stop a promising attack, accidentally or not, it just has to be an instant yellow. This is what every ex-referee has said. The PGMOL have now confirmed it. So my view is this. The VAR can't get involved, granted. But you've got 2 referees' assistants, linesmen, as we used to call them, and a 4th official. So you've got 3 extra people sitting there that can all communicate. How has it been missed? Now, it could just be incompetence. It could be stupidity. It could be an oversight. But I understand why nobody's believing that anymore. I understand why people think there's more at play, because it's just so obvious. Now, to us as fans, it felt obvious. A lot of us. I didn't. I wasn't. It's an accidental trip. Didn't mean to do it. I understand why he didn't get the second yellow. And then you're taught about the law. And this is what we now have to do as football fans regarding the law of the game, is ensure that it is implemented. Now, fair enough. As I say, 9 times out of 10, when it comes to a decision that VAR can't get involved with, for instance, 2-player challenge for the ball, referee gives a corner, but actually it should have been a goal kick. That very minute detail and that little deflection is very hard to see in real time, and there's no recourse. Okay, I understand that entirely. There's nothing that can be done. Oh, did he foul him on the edge of the box? Oh, we can't check it on VAR. Oh, it looked like a foul. It might not have been. It's really close on the edge of the box. We can't check it on VAR because it isn't a penalty. Okay, game on. But when it's as blatant, as clear, as obvious as this, it is absolutely horrendous. So as I say, Forest here have been absolutely done dirty. They're struggling. They're fighting for their lives. They got a good win away at West Ham last night. But not only did they have this go against them, as I said earlier, if you search on Google now, when I've recorded this, it's 9 a.m. in the morning, to be fair. It might have changed by the time you watch this. There's not even any stories about it. The stories about Forest logging a complaint is there, but no stories. No stories, considering Rob Dawson from Sky Sports has published this. No one seems to care. And we must care. We must care. Because how many more times is this going to happen this season? Where one team challenging for the league title should potentially drop points based on their performances, but get a leg up for a bad decision. And how many times is it going to go the other way? Now, as we said, we've called this out already. There have been mistakes in every direction this season. Arsenal most certainly should have conceded a penalty against Everton, and we called that out. The issue for me, it's the balance. The balance here over, not just this season, but over the course of the last 5-6 years of massive decisions in title races going Man City's way feels astronomical. Now, if anybody, listen, I'm just putting out there how it feels, how it looks. I want your views. I want your opinions in that comment section below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.